Welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and disembodied hands, Quindy. Some sort of nebulous Reaper presence, which might be named Ron or John. We're not sure. Yeah, yet to be confirmed, unlike sunlight in many states, apparently. But yeah, it's fun. Kiki's been kind of a terror this morning. She went through Kiri's old blanket and she like mowed through it. Like there were pieces everywhere. And then I gave her a sheepskin just to keep her busy. So now there are little fluffs of sheepskin floof around all around the living room because she you know, she did a Kiki on it. She's really frustrated lately because there's no dogs to play with, which I think is because of the crazy dog flu. Or the crazy dog virus that's been going around, is people have not brought their dogs to play at the park for several weeks now, and she's really stir crazy. Hey Trash, thanks for the resub. 46 months, not quite enough for me to sing at you. Almost though, almost. And almost does count here. Yes. Fall things like leaves. Yes, leaves are falling here too. Okay, it's Gold Day. It's a Gold Day on Angry Link, or Mellonir, as we also call him. Whee. Yeah, it's been going on for a while now, Kroniko, but it's as it continues, it gets more and more media attention. Yeah. And it's probably like a collection of stuff, but there is one big thing that seems to be the fatal thing, the potentially fatal thing. Zammy just got it. Bridget's girl, Kiki's mom, has it right now. She's coughing. But she is a younger dog and pretty healthy, so hopefully she will weather it. It's the dog flu, yeah. Yeah, they don't know if it's really a flu or if it's a different virus, but it can lead to pneumonia, and that's when it can get deadly, just like with human flus. All right, I'm going to mix up just a little bit of these things. But yeah, Bridget's she almost lost Kiki's uncle to it. He got pneumonia and ended up in the ER for 4 days. So it's definitely not something to take lightly. Something to keep an eye on. How about that? But yeah, Kobuk's older. He is 10 years old, so he was definitely in the riskier demographic for that. Oh, Iceland is about to explode. Lies in volcanoes. You know, it is always kind of exploding. I mean, they do have, like, geothermal power there and stuff. Or are you saying that, like, a large part of Iceland is about to explode? Yeah. Iceland is always going boom. That was my understanding as well. That's kind of its thing. My parents were just there. Mom has some nice pictures. I'd like to go. It's beautiful. Beautiful stuff, even though it's cold. Major volcanic activity. Yeah. Alrighty. Got my colors lined up. They all look pretty boring at this point, but that's because we have not mixed them up yet. Oh, the raised cracks. Yeah. I'll have to go online and take a look at that. Dean Lerman. Gonna drop a drop of water and flow improver mixture into each one of these. We were near one. We went to one. There was no lava, but the day that the volcano on the Big Island started waking up again was the day we were at Volcano National Park on the Big Island. So we actually got to hearing it rumble. We walked along the rim. Some people were much braver than us, and they walked along the crater far away from the actual, like, you know, crater where the lava is down there. But yeah, I'm sure that is one of the things about living in Iceland, right? And Hawaii, so you know that it's like tornadoes in Oklahoma. All right, I need to put a little bit of rich leather in here. Oh, kind of, yeah, I kind of vaguely remember that, D. Clearman, but too soon, too soon. It's definitely a scary thing for those of us, you know, who love our pets, but yeah, there was one like that opened with that sort of thing, didn't it? A movie I did not watch, because the minute that stuff went on the screen, I would have walked right out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the aftermath of Mount Rainier exploding, yeah. That was where I set my my Werewolf the Apocalypse game. For precisely that reason. There was a sect of the werewolves that wanted to cause Mount Rainier to explode so they could wipe out all those humans. I was very happy that I got to go to Rainier. Kiki and David and I got to go up and say hi to Rainier this past summer. Yeah. Yeah, I know I have it, Trash. It's actually sitting right over here. I'm not opening it. Because if I ever wrote any fanfic at all, it would be Werewolf the Apocalypse fanfic. And I cannot, when I'm in the middle of writing a new book, I cannot open that book. I would be so derailed so fast. But someday, I swear it, Kronika will get her vampire or her werewolf paladin romance, and I'll get my Werewolf the Apocalypse fanfic. Yeah, if Mount Rainier went, it would likely wipe out a huge part of the valley down to, maybe with lava flows down to Seattle. So, you know, fun, depending on exactly how it blew. But yeah, it's a beautiful mountain, though. It's my favorite giant mountain, so, you know. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Yeah, it was humans rationalizing seeing giant half-form werewolves, yep. You know, I have used a SKU, but I haven't liked them very much at Zachariah. I've tried two. The first one I really hated. That was the blue-barreled one. And then I got a second one kind of by, like, it was cheap and on sale. And that one was okay, but I don't remember what size or series it was, actually. Overall, though, I have not been impressed. My experience may not be your experience, so... But I cannot help, unfortunately, on this one. I don't know if I may have actually tossed that Escoda brush. I may have hated it that much. I may have decided it was absolutely worthless. Yeah, Trash and I, we agree. All right, well, I'm glad to see it's not just me, Trashrama. Yeah, Werewolf Paladin. I know I owe you a Werewolf Paladin romance at some point. It might just be a novella, you know, but I owe you one. Fortunately, the Silverfangs are very easy to make paladins. But you could make a very angsty anti-paladin Shadow Lord if you wanted. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes... But canvas just is a bit of a different beast, right? Because the thing about that I didn't like about the Escodas is that they didn't keep the fine detail tip that we need, right? And a canvas painter would not care about that unless they were painting miniature canvases. Like I said, the second one I got, I didn't hate, but as I seem to have misplaced it, I don't know that it was really one of my favorite brushes. Usually my favorite brushes I don't misplace. It probably ended up in one of my brush caddies and I just forgot it existed and never missed it. Sorry, Escoda. Yeah. Angsty redemption stories. Oh, that's your groove, huh? I actually tend to like an angsty redemption story also, as long as it's well done. It can't be too predictable. So we're gonna make our highlight right here. And the reason that we're doing that is we want the highlight to be kind of at the point where the viewer's eye is like looking down the mini, like if the viewer is out here. That's where, if light is falling down, it's going to bounce up at the viewer. So this is where the highlight goes. This involves a bit of visualization and understanding of how light falls. That's what makes NMM so very joyful to try to do for the first time, and probably the second and the 14th and the 52nd. But yeah, it's good. Yes, might want to explain to your mom that the specific qualities of the Escoda are not necessarily great for mini painting. But yeah, the first one I got was one of their series that was like the Winsor Newton miniature series. It was a wedge-shaped brush, but it just did not hold together. It was not my favorite. So we're going to create that highlight there. And we're going to create a highlight on the interior rim as well. Both, depending on what you're doing with Taklon or Sable. It all depends on your goals. On your goals, on how much you paint, on what you're doing with your brushes and what you're trying to do with your brushes, on what your budget is, on how well you take care of your brushes. All those things depend. Trash, you're funny. Bring in some light down here. I did not get much done on my Patreon PDF yesterday. Hopefully today I can make more progress. I have to actually cook things tonight. Yesterday was leftovers day. I think I got into a lackadaisical mood because I didn't have to cook. Yeah. I mean, the problem with questions like that is that it's, people are like, it's black and white, and it's never black and white. But people love black and white answers, and they don't have to think. I am sometimes as bad on that as anybody. Though I try. I like shades of gray in general. So I'm just putting a shadow right under that highlight. But yeah, it's always like... And whoever suggested that question or posted that question knew that they were going to create gnashing of teeth. In some. But yeah, I mean, the answer can absolutely be both. For me, it's generally only sable, but I use Taklon for terrain. Terrain and large basing. Sometimes even small basing. If I need to dry brush some gravel or grass, I reach for my Taklons. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit of a casting issue here, so I'm just trying to kind of paint plastic surgery it and blend it in. Just a little bit of roughness there, and the edge of the shield is kind of crimped in right up next to that, the green, so I'm gonna have to reline there probably. Oh yeah! Baldur's Gate 3 sculpts to print, huh? Somebody's done something without the license, I'm sure, Trash. You just have to find it before they get a cease and desist. It's a good week to look for new STLs, though, with the sales. Getting some of my liner out, brown liner for this. Yeah, I was thinking about, I did get on and buy a bunch of stuff from Christine from Moonlight. And I'm thinking about actually, I had a horrible thought. Like, I realized that I could print them bigger. And then suddenly I wanted more of them. Because that's the thing with STLs, right? I can make my 28 millimeters 40 millimeters. Because I was like, you know, if their eyes were just a little bigger, I could do colored irises. And I was like, that's an STL. I can make it bigger. Oh no, Korniko. Yes, so I'm thinking, because I love the elves, but David and I already bought a blister pack of them at ReaperCon and split them up, right? But I bought one of them over again because one of the ones I got, her bow was damaged, and I was like, hey, I could just print a new one and just use the bow and just pin it onto the original skull, the original print, and and fix it, right? For a very small cost and no time investment. And where is my? There it is. Sorry, Seeking Walnut Brown. But then, yeah, this morning I was just thinking. I was like, hey, I could take that Elven Bard I really like and printer it, 125%. So, like, that was like, huh. This could be bad. This could be bad. And I think it never occurred to me before because I generally don't buy character STLs. Almost every STL that I have bought thus far has been a monster or a bust. And so it had just never occurred to me that I could get Moonlight stuff and then print it, you know, to 40 mil size. 40 or 45. Hi, Kiki. Hi. Are you here to say hi and to tell everybody how you totally wrecked Kiri's old blanket this morning? Leaving shreds of it everywhere and then trying to pull it through itself until there was ripping noises and Mama couldn't handle it anymore? Yeah. What a good girl. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, you want to come up? Oh, yeah, I bet at Signum. Yeah, I bet it would look good at a large scale. Yep. Yeah, that is definitely... Why are you licking me? What did I spill on my shirt this morning? Why are you licking my shirt? You're such a dork. You're such a dork. Oh, belch. Oh, my. That was gassy of you. Gassy lassie. She's just like, why are you here? Yes, you're so silly. Okay. You got your pettins, but then Mama's got to work, okay? Work. Yeah. Mwah. Good girl. Okay, Kiki. Work. Yeah, it's not, the printing is actually computer free for the most part, Dogfather. It's putting it into the slicer program first to make sure that the supports are all good and everything. Or to add support yourself if you want to. Which actually, just from watching David do it, is not really all that hard. Once you learn the commands. I mean, Lychee puts them in. So far we haven't. When we've had Lychee actually add supports to an unsupported model, we've never had a fail so far. So I'm pretty happy with... I don't think we've ever needed to manually add a support. Which is good because I don't know if David and I would have the, like, you know, how do we... Where does it need it, right? I don't know that we understand that at a fundamental level yet. Although we keep having a fail on one piece from one model, so, but that's why we haven't yet done the whole grab the unsupported version and have the program support it. So we're going to try that. David tried having it fix the supports first and it did not work. Yep, work. Yep. It works for Kiki. We've taught her. Yeah, well, we haven't had Lychee's auto support fail us yet, so we'll see. Hopefully not, because then that means that likely this model will never get printed, which is a shame because it's a huge model and this is one tiny part, but it's a necessary part. Just because I don't think David is up to giving it the... He would be up for it if it was his model, but because it's my model, I don't think that he's going to have the oomph to figure out exactly how to place a support where we need it. Which is fair. I would probably be the same way. So, and I don't have the oomph or the time to learn Lychee right now. So that's why that's his part. All right, so just blocking in more of that highlight. Yeah? Okay, I might take you up on that. If it fails again. So far we've tried to print it, and part of it is that we're printing the model slightly smaller, so that's probably part of the problem right there. But we increased the size from what we originally were trying, so it's actually close to 100% now. But it still had problems. It is, I don't know, it's not, I would say it's not an entirely new hobby because it definitely plays off of the miniature painting obsession hobby. I would say that it's like a new expansion for your hobby. That's what I would call it. It's like an expansion. There's like a new raid, some new dungeons. Some new zones to learn. Oh, man. I'm sure it's not that bad, Kiki. I'm sure it's not really that bad. So now I'm going to shine up the top here. Yep, we have a bork. I don't have her fan on, and without the white noise, she can hear every little thing from the street and outside, and so there tend to be more borks. If she gets really borky while we're doing this, I'll go turn the fan on. It'll help. New dungeons full of toxic materials. Yes. Yup. But yeah, I'm tempted to go back and buy a little bit more from Moonlight just because it's 30% off right now on their online store. So we want the entire upper surface to be lighter, right? Because the light is falling on it. We want to, our highlights and shadows will commensurately be lighter. But I want to still make some kind of wobbly highlights, shadow highlights, bands of color. But yeah, I would like to. There's some of her models. Her models are fairly simple at the scale they're at. So like I think that mostly with Moonlight stuff, I would paint it at the scale. But there are a couple models that I think I would like to do a little bit bigger. And that is kind of the cool thing. Being able to size it to whatever you want is really cool. But yeah, I might have to learn to use lychee myself. Who knows? I just have so much on my plate right now. I've got, or it isn't even that I have so much on my plate. It's just that the projects I do have on my plate are really important to me. So I don't want to get distracted. When Anne gets distracted, that's when nothing happens. That's when no crap gets done at all. Which is a sad state of affairs. Lack-a-day. So we got some shinies. Some shinies. Although that's a little bit, we can brighten up this shiny, I think. Morning, Daffodwear. But yeah, at some point I probably do have to learn to do lychee, because if I can learn to use lychee, then I don't have to bother David at all, and I can just print anything I want whenever I want. Yeah, some adventure cats. Yeah. I still got my druid. My druid to paint. So I'm going to brighten this up. And then I'm going to darken this down a little bit. Okay, I want to get a little bit of light coming, bouncing up down here. Adventure Cat is the company, the series that's done by Quantum Miniatures that did my owlbear pendrake. Dun, dun. But it also does a lot of adventurer cats, thus the name. The owlbear is just one of the Adventure Cat's monsters. Okay, so we've got that shadow band. Now we're going down here. Yeah, I went grocery shopping yesterday. I had just enough oomph. I think I now have everything we need for Thanksgiving. I bought us a tiny but mighty chicken. The ones they had were only like, the biggest one I could get was 4 pounds. I'm used to doing like a 5-pound chicken, 5 or 5.5, or even 6. I guess I just always bought monster chickens before. So we'll see how the tiny but mighty chicken fares, but that looks pretty good. That's shiny. I'm going to blend this highlight in a little bit. Yeah, I broke mine up too, although I'm still waiting. I need to check my, I really need to check my Amazon because my gluten-free stuffing has not showed up. And this is not good. When are you showing up, gluten-free stuffing? Grr. Tomorrow by 10 p.m. It better be. Otherwise, it's going to be like, it's going to have to be no stuffing or glutinous stuffing that I can only have a tiny bit of. Friendsgiving, yep. 14 people. That's pretty good. No, that's really cool. I think that Friendsgiving is super fun, so it's great that you'd get that many people trashed. That could be, it'll be a to-do, but boy, it'll be fun. I think it's just more fun that way. I don't know. Like, if you don't have family to do it with, but you have friends who are at odd ends and who don't have family close, I think that that's just fun. Alrighty, it's better. Okay. Outside. Top is, it could be better. Yeah. Yeah, eat and play board games. Why not? Bacon is on sale. One more reason. It's so true. So I'm just highlighting that up a little bit more now. On the outside, I want a little bit more light. We are just going to eat tasty foods. It's definitely more of a production number than I normally do for us, but I do like to do it. I do enjoy it. I enjoy cooking. It's when it comes down to the Christmas it's going to be more obnoxious because his parents will be here and I will have to do 2 production number dinners in a row. And the thing is, they're like, oh, but put us to work. And I'm just like, but you won't do it the way that I do it. It's terrible. I really should just like say whatever, do whatever, right? And just throw it at them and make them work. But they're not going to do it the way I do it. Do you get it? Agent Marvel, you are my soul sister. You understand? How am I going to hand over one of my production number tasks and still be sure that it's going to be done correctly and to the spec? Yeah, it's hard to give up control. Especially when you enjoy it. See, normally I enjoy the chopping and the dicing and the everything, right? I enjoy my getting together my mise en place. I love it. I love my mise en place. And David makes fun of me for it, but it's just like, it's therapy for me. But it ceases to be therapy when I've got relatives hovering around helping, right? Then it is no longer therapy. And I need the therapy because I have relatives hovering around. Oh yeah, nasty storms in the Midwest on Turkey Day. Well, everybody will have to bunker down and eat their foods then. At least they'll have leftovers if power goes out. They'll have to eat them fast. All right, so we've got some nice shinies going on here. I need to double check my stuff down here. There's some highlights I'd like to do down lower. I would let you do it if I thought you'd do it right. Yes, yes. But a lot of it is the therapy stuff, like all the chopping and getting things in order actually is therapeutic to me, and then it ceases to be therapeutic when there are other people around, right? So yeah, you get it, Agent Marvel. I knew you would. We have very similar personalities in a lot of ways. Do you cuss at yourself as much as I cuss at myself? Damn it, Anne. But yeah, it's just, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, the first snow is always a mess. All right, so let's get back to these little leaflets. They're cute. They're very cute. And this one has kind of a line. They've got a line down. They're kind of like faceted leaflets. There are two sides to them, which should make them pretty easy to NMM. Because we're just going to block in our shadow along that line. Only the big leaf really gives us a lot of room. This one, you can see the line there, but this one is a little bit too smooshed. This one, the line isn't so much as like it's kind of flopping over, so I'm going to do this. Now we'll do our slight highlight. See, Thormel, I'm just like, stay out of my kitchen in general. Like, it really isn't about them doing it exactly the way. Like, I can get around that. David helps me. He's usually my sous chef. But it's more that having people in the house anyway is stressful. And so I don't want the stress to come into my sanctuary, which is the kitchen. And also, like, I mean, there definitely is some of they will screw it up, you know. When I say fine dice, I mean fine dice, damn it. But but mostly I can get around. I might feel a twinge of annoyance, but mostly I can get around that. It's more that cooking gives me something to do that doesn't necessitate me sitting and talking to his parents for hours, which would get old fast. They're nice people. Cranberry sauce, tasty. My mindset goes to cranberry sauce, tasty. Speaking of which, I should probably make that a day in advance. Like, I could totally make that tomorrow, and I could make my cream of mushroom soup tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm not a people. I'm not a people, right? So, oh, cranberry sauce. There we go. Thanks for the poll. Great poll. See, my cranberry sauce has a heavy orange component because orange and cranberry go so well together, and I do love scones. I wouldn't be all about cranberry sauce if it hadn't been given that recipe that I love so much. Oh, nice. The cranberry sauce. I don't know. I mean, my cranberry sauce is pretty thick in general. I don't usually have a problem with it going runny. It's pretty much a jam. It's almost. But the cream of mushroom soup I could do in advance, and that would make putting together the green bean casserole much easier. Although my CrossFit coach Andrew gave me an idea for the cream of mushroom soup this year. I might just do it. He puts Gruyere cheese in his cream of mushroom soup for his green bean casserole, and that sounds great. That sounds super tasty. So I'm like, Oh yeah, cranberry and pecan chicken salads are so tasty. Cranberry fruit salad, yeah. That sounds great too. Super tasty. But yeah, Gruyere cheese sounds like it would work great. I usually do a little Parmesan, but I usually add it to the top of the green bean casserole. I've never mixed it in. Yeah. Well, Andrew and Allie, my CrossFit coaches, actually met in culinary school. They both were in culinary school together. So they know how to cook. Probably much better than I do with my cobbled together knowledge. But yes, I might have to try the Gruyere in my make it even better, because right now I feel like my green bean casserole manages to convince people who don't like green bean casserole that it's actually really good. So if I can up it to the next level, you know. Cheese and jam thing. Well, I'll have to do that then, Jabberwock. I might have to go and get a really nice Gruyere instead of some, like, bad stuff from Safeway. I might have to go over to whole Paycheck or to my local little shop. That's essentially my tiny whole Paycheck. Man, I saw the biggest Whole Foods when I went to Cupertino. I went to Cupertino to get my my CrossFit equipment because I wanted to be able to do some CrossFit this week since my gym is closed. And I had never really gone down to Cupertino before. And I've like texted David. I'm like, wow, Cupertino is really nice. He's like, Cupertino is where the Apple employees live. And I'm like, oh, so they're all slightly more aesthetic and fashion conscious. I get it. It's so funny because it's like, that's when you live in Silicon Valley, that's what you get. It's like, oh, this town, this is where the NVIDIA folks live. Oh, this town, that's where, you know, that's where the Apple folks live. Oh, this town, this is where the Google folks live. You know, I live in Google land. I live in Googs land. But it's so funny because you can see, like, you go to these different towns, and the core is obviously pre-tech, right? But you do see, like, the different amenities, the different stores that are there, that everything like that. It changes depending on the tech company. It's really funny. So yeah, Cupertino is apparently is Apple land. They have the biggest Whole Foods I have ever seen. It is as big as a Home Depot, folks. It is that large. Like, I looked at it and I thought it was just the corner of the shopping center. And then I looked beyond it. It goes down the entire block of the shopping center. It is seriously, I have to go now. I have to go back down there just to go to that Whole Foods. I have never seen a Whole Foods the size of a Home Depot before. It's insane. In 1995 in Cupertino, it was a far different place probably, right, Jabberwock? Yeah, Silicon Valley tech gangs. It's funny, Cornico. I mean, I live in Googsland. Googsland is pretty quirky. and very multicultural. Like, because Gooks has a ton of Indian employees, a ton, as well as a lot of Chinese, and then, you know, then there's like a bunch of people from there's like people from Thailand and people like on David's team alone, people from Ireland and people from, there's just so much. And so what we get is this eclectic mixture in Mountain View. There's like any ethnic grocery store I want, I can probably find in Mountain View. And I can also find a good Irish pub. So it's like, it's really funky. It's really like, this is kind of the mixed bag in this area. Sunnyvale, I think it bleeds over a little bit into Sunnyvale, which is right next door too. Very green. But yeah, Cupertino is like, instead of having a Y, it has the Cupertino Sports Center, which is essentially like a YMCA, only run by the city and 50 times nicer. The memberships are like inexpensive and it's like really top notch. It also is huge. And I was just like, and it's a college town too. I forget which college I drove by, but there's a college right there in Cupertino that I had heard of. So it just seems like a really interesting little town, city town thing. I might have to go exploring. I might have to drag my mom down there to get some groceries while she's here. My mom wants me to drag her to all the cool little places in the area. So we're going to go to my yarn store and we're going to go to the bird store, to my bird supply store, which I haven't gone in a while. I'm excited to show my mom some of the cool shops. But yeah, it was so funny to like have David go, oh, that's where the Apple people live. This is so funny. Oh man. It is amusing. Like it's, and as a person born here who was brought up as a Midwesterner, Northern Midwesterner, and then coming back here, there are some things that I roll my eyes at and some things that I'm just like, it's so cute. It's so interesting. It's funky. It's a funky place to live. I have to wonder what the fantasy world version is of this. Like, it's got to be magic, right? Instead of tech companies, you've got magic companies. And the magic companies have all their different things going, but they're all kind of competing, but they're all kind of not competing because they're all, like, different. Yarn and bird food, all you need, right? Yeah, I already warned David he's going to get stuck with my dad a little bit because Mom and I are going to run off and do mom and daughter things. But I'm sure that he can manage. I won't leave him alone too long, I'll promise him. Week. All right, so we're just doing a little bit, just a little tiny bit of highlight there and a little boop right there. Don't have to do too much. It's kind of buried in the cape. You just want to bring out the details. But yeah, my parents are coming before Christmas. They're coming early December. Just wanted to come up and visit the area again. Dad's got some family in the area. My dad is very much into his genealogy, like in the last, decade, and he has looked up a lot of cousins that we never knew existed and stuff like that. And so he now has friends. It's kind of become his hobby after work, is keeping up our family's like kind of genealogy website. There we go. Cool. Okay, so that's all getting blinged. Now we need these two little things here. Those are easy. Tinsel wool. Oh yeah, I bet. Tactile, in a tactile sense. I'm getting into the knitting like mood again. I need something to do with my evenings that isn't video games because my shoulder is not happy with me for too much video gaming. Too much bouncing. Alrighty, So first we just put a highlight in, and for rounded areas like this, honestly, you're just going to put a highlight right in the middle. So you're going to start your first highlight, and then you can put a smaller highlight down in the middle of that, and then if you really want to, you can go up to pure white in the middle of that, and that is enough. But yeah, I have some pretty wool from before, and some pretty yarn in general that I was going to use for shawls or cowls, and I just fell out of it during the summer because of other stuff, and because of finishing books is precious. There we go. All right, so we got all the bling there. Now we got to move to this bling. Our bling is getting done quickly. I did see that I've still got some area here that I did not color in white, so I need to do that too. My mom knits some things for herself, but she more often knits stuff for, she knits things and gives them to the Goodwill. Baby blankets. She was doing a lot of baby blankets last year for the Goodwill. Because they're pretty fast and easy. It gives her something to do while she's watching golf tournaments in front of the TV and stuff. Oh, yep. Yeah, that's what I had to do my exercises for when I recommended that book yesterday. I did my exercises last night. It didn't come up with any numbness overnight, so I'm feeling good. But the thing about like, and this happened to me with physical therapy too, but once you've got one part of you straightened out, like you definitely, like, the pain travels. Like, it shows you that the pain wasn't actually, you know, with the numb hand. Like, now my arm hurts. Like, and that's what led to the hand going numb, is the hurt in the arm. And once I get the arm taken care of, my shoulders are gonna hurt. Like, it's like you work it backwards. It's really weird. It's because, but mostly I think, like, my shoulders are mainly abused a lot. I abuse them a lot. But yeah, nervous systems are weird. I totally agree. Why can't we just abuse ourselves nonstop and play all of the games we want and paint all the things? It's just not fair. So I want to put a highlight here, and then now if I want this to be burnished, then I need to not put a hard shadow underneath it. I need to blend it a little bit. If you want very, very shiny metal, that's where you have that really hard highlight and then a shadow right underneath it area. But if you want it to be more faded in, then you want to give it a little bit of territory. I'm going to just paint over this real quick so I can make that work. You want to make your highlight here, but you want it to blend into the mid again before you hit your shadow. And if you look what I'm doing, I'm kind of lining my shadow up with the underside of the blade here. But yeah, the problem is it's like double XP or some bonus XP weekend on Diablo. So David's like, you can catch up with me. And I'm like, but I don't want to play a lot of Diablo right now. Or I do want to play Diablo, but I really can't play Diablo. So like that. So essentially my shadow is right around the shadow side of the blade here, and I can put a highlight here and still have a little bit of yellow transition into that shadow. I'm going to bring my yellow down just a little bit more. And then I need to remember reflected light on the bottom there. So blend that in. Yeah, not the hard. And it's much more forgiving. That's why, I mean, it's a good thing to do the gentle transition. Not only is it more accurate for history, but it's much easier. The goofy WoW armor in a mem. I know there's some crazy stuff. Sometimes it's like There are some things about it that are somewhat accurate. Like sometimes actually, I guess I'm thinking more of Overwatch. Overwatch has decent NMM. It tends to have some weird reflections from the environment, and it almost tends to read like multiple light sources. But I actually like the NMM a little better on Overwatch stuff. The WoW stuff, you're right, is very cartoony. I was just thinking about some of the kind of bad NMM I've seen. David is raiding again with his guild. They essentially walked into the normal version of the new raid and destroyed it in a night and a half. So then they're like, haha, we can do heroic, and then they went and essentially like smashed their face into the first heroic boss for the rest of the night. And it was no. Yeah, WoW is very cartoonish NMM. Well, you also have like a child, Agent Marvel, so it's probably better you don't get into WoW at least. It tends to be very absorbing. And these days, I don't know, I wouldn't get in with this expansion anyway. I was not impressed with the story in this expansion. That's why I totally dropped it. I played the first part because I really liked the dragons. And then I kind of saw where it was going, and it was like... It's like all their good writers went to Diablo. Yeah, WoW is a very pleasant game. Yes, it wants you to be invested a lot. Yep. Overwatch is nice. You can pick it up, put it down. That's why I play a lot of that when I have time. You still have to learn like at least a couple heroes so that you have something you can play, but it's not the same thing. And it is very pretty. Very pretty. Yeah. WoW got my decade. It got a decade of constant usage from me, where it was my entire life was WoW when I wasn't working, and that's enough. That's enough. It can be happy with that. That was when I first started working at Reaper. Like WoW came out, what, 2005, and we had a guild. Yeah, it would eat into your Monster Hunter time. Yeah. Now we know where Kuroniko's at. Yeah. We know where her computer game vice is. I've realized that I like games like Diablo and Path of Exile because I like just obliterating monsters. Like, if I need to get on the computer and de-stress, like, that's my chosen de-stress. I want to go walk into a dungeon and just blow up 200 monsters. That's almost every game these days, but yeah. But yeah, the addictive thing. I'm with you, actually, Agent Marvel now. Since my decade lost to WoW, when I had my kind of mental wake up where I realized, you know, I wasn't serving myself very well. I've been very sensitive to the addictive thing since then, yeah. And very sensitive to the whole, I could be producing something that I can actually hold in my hand and value, instead of something that I can never hold. That's just part of some weird digital universe that may not be around in another 5 years. So we're going to do on the front what we did on the back. Let's bring up our highlight. We're going to put our shadow in. Yeah. Yep. That's why I like Borderlands 2 in our... It's a very gratifying game. Yeah, the tree. Okay, so Trash, the way to do Poe, to just have kind of a happy experience with it, is just to... there's a huge Poe community, and you just essentially figure out what you want to play. You know, do you want to play a Shadow? Do you want to play a Scion? Do you want to play a Witch? Then you look up, you know, Poe, whatever edition it is, builds, and you will get a list of people who have pre-done all these builds. And I think the Poe builder, essentially you can just import their build into your Poe so that you can just follow along. Like, you can essentially just try their build, which is the easy way to do it. And if you want to flip around a couple things that you can, but it's like, it's just I think it's the easiest way to enjoy the game. I don't like, there's no way I could create my own character with that tree. It's too huge. But I also really like the sense of progression that the tree gets as I've chosen a build and I watch the build just kind of come to life as I build it out on the tree. So I think that for me, that's the way to enjoy Poe. That's what I do. I am always just kind of sniffing around looking for like, what's a build that sounds interesting, and then I try it out. Oh, the newest Tomb Raiders. Yeah. But yeah, I do love when I've got my build decided what I want to do. I do really like Path of Exile. I feel like Poe, if you like Diablo but you wish that you felt a little more overpowered in Diablo, like that's what Poe gives you. That's what Path of Exile gives you. It gives you that incredible overpower feeling. And then they save the really tough content for like the end game bosses. Or as you're getting like really higher level, really high level content on the maps and things like that. Although Path of Exile 2 is, will come out one of these days. And that'll change things up a bit. But I think I'm going to play the new Poe, the new season in December. Because I miss it, kind of. David introduced me to it, and I thought that it was way too complex for me. But once I realized I could just look up other people's builds and I had fun doing that, then it was all cool. I'm just frustrated because usually it seemed like last expansion that David and I played, I finally had the OP build, and he didn't, and he stopped playing. Usually it's the other way around. Usually he's got the OP build, and he's just carrying me with whatever little thing I've decided to have fun with. But my trapping, my exsanguinating trap build actually was amazing. But then he quit, and I was like, oh. So this time I'm just going to play without him, and I'm going to look for, something that I like. And I'm not going to worry about it. I just need to kill the hordes of tiny monsters, that's all. For my stress levels. Especially with the holidays looming. Forza Horizon 5, interesting. Crazy jumps and crash with no cons. Yes, that can be very freeing. I agree. I always complain about David's driving in Borderlands. and one time I was like, wee, when he's like doing something really reckless around the corners. And then one time he was actually driving and he like cut a corner really hard and I went, wee, and he's like, this is not Borderlands. There we go. But he always drives in Borderlands because he knows the maps and I just have no direction sense. I'm one of those WoW players who would get lost in dungeons all the time. And raids. Raids were the worst. There we go. Now let's bring up that highlight really hard right there. Yeah, I do like Borderlands. I'm kind of like, Borderlands has become like one of my favorite like book series where I'll purposefully just sit and ignore it for years and then I'll go back and replay it and I'll enjoy it almost as much as I enjoyed it the first time. Or I go back and reread it in the case of books. Because I'll have forgotten enough that I can re-enjoy the book. There are a couple of book series that I do that with. Like, actually it was cool because during the pandemic, I reread all of Agatha Christie. I reread all the Miss Marples and all the Hercule Poirot's, which were my favorites. And enough time had passed. And there's also just a couple of the books that I had never gotten because I was getting those books from the library and they didn't always have all of them. So I got to read some new ones that I hadn't read before, and then I had forgotten enough about some of them that it was new again. So that was cool. Like, I thought I remembered who did it, but I wasn't sure, So yeah, Borderlands is definitely like that series, because I really, really enjoyed... The story is good, especially for 2 and 3. And so someday I'll go back, and that's what David had done, actually. He hadn't played them in years, and he replayed them with me, so that was really nice. Because he couldn't remember some of the plot stuff. Mostly because he doesn't care. He's not there for the plot. He's there to blow up monsters. And I respect that. Well, hopefully y'all are lining yourselves up not to have too much stress over the holidays. Hopefully you all have a fun time, either cooking and eating tasty noms, or having friends over and cooking and eating tasty noms, or having family, or not having to cook at all and you're going to somebody else's house. That's almost the best. There we go, little buckle. Don't want to forget that. Plot is overrated. Hunting monsters is fun. So I shouldn't try Monster Hunter for the plot. Is that what you're telling me? I do like a good story in a game. I don't require it to be like the end-all be-all of the reason to play the game, but I appreciate a well-done story. That said, Path of Exile story is kind of like, meh. It's there because, like, people expected a story. So, yeah, I do actually ignore Poe's story. And that and you're, you know, replaying a bunch of it, so you're like, eh. Stress, that's what the alcohol's for. But I can't have alcohol anymore, Thoramel. So that's why I try to minimize my stress. Getting our little shinies in here. Oh no, oh no. That's ridiculous, Pendrake. I am purposefully not paying any attention to any Christmas advertising. I am focused on Thanksgiving. I'm going to do a little bit of a highlight up the center here, I think. The story is, this monster is breaking villages. Go stop it. Alright. Oh, that's fair. Almost got it. We've almost got it, guys. We're almost to all the bling being blinged. New kitchen trash bin. Oh, nice. We have I think we have a simple human one. I don't remember. I like our trash bin. Although Kiki could figure out how to open it if she really tried. She's opened it accidentally before by stepping on the paddle. Though she seems to have, she seems not to be the type of dog to take advantage of that. Leo would. What was funny about Leo was he wouldn't ever take anything out of the trash, but he would step on the lever just to smell it. Because the smell was so good for him. He was like, this always smells good. I'm going to step on the lever and smell it. It's so funny. He was a very funny dog. Never took anything out of it. Yeah, he's got bling now, Agent Marvel. Oh, I almost forgot the pommel. I need to remember that. I'm kind of switching around a bit, and that unfortunately is a recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for forgetting parts of the model. So let's make sure that we're being good. Yeah. Ours is held up. We had to buy one when I moved in because David's previous trash was not dog proof. As it never had to be before. So, we got a tall can. We got it on sale. I think it was a sale at Target. Acrylic weathering medium, huh? The technique is familiar from oil painting, actually. I'm thinking it's going to be thicker. I mean, you could use a sponge. You could use a damp Q-tip. You could use, you know, that's a technique. The whole wipe method has been done before. Oh, it's thick. Yeah, that's what I figured. Is it would be very thick if you were doing the sponge method. I mean, the wiping, I'm not surprised that somebody's trying to promote that, because it does remove the downside to washes, which is, you know, the fact that they stay on the upper surfaces and color them. If it's thick, it's definitely not going to have to worry about coffee stains, so that's a, you know... It seems like, it seems gimmicky to me. Because, yeah, if it's already thick, then you wouldn't have to worry about coffee stains anyway. So that they're just using its actual thickness as a selling point, but you wouldn't be able to actually use it without wiping because it's thick, hypothetically. Like, I kind of raised my eyebrows. Yeah, it kind of... I mean, you could do that with any acrylic medium, really. You wouldn't need to buy theirs. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Because you have to wipe the model. There are some areas you could do it on very easily. Bigger models it would be good for. But yeah, I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard of the company doing that, no. Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to repurpose acrylic medium and make money off of it as a specialty thing. I'm dubious. Depending on the company that's doing it, I know there is one company that is pretty famous for repurposing other people's stuff in such a manner. Not that that's bad. I mean, they're just trying to essentially find a new market for whatever it is, but yeah, it sounds just like a straight up make your own wash kind of thing, right? Because if you can mix your own paints with it, and it's thick, it's an acrylic medium, it's just going to work that way. And the thing is that when you only add medium with no water, you almost have to wipe it, because it is going to be globby. That's why with washes, you add both, right? That's why my video on how to make your own washes is you add both medium in the form of brush-on sealer or matte medium, and water. You want a little bit of water because you want it to flow. But you don't want that water if you're using the wipe technique, because you want it to stay. You don't want it to flow out or slurp up into your sponge or anything like that. You want something viscous for that technique. Noosh. Oh. Yeah, I'll have to look at it. I'm willing to bet. I have a thought about who it could be. Let's find out. Yeah, I'm not finding much. I don't think I can... Oh, is this... Ah, here we go. Yep. Interesting. Well, it wasn't the company I thought, but it was a company that I don't have, like, that... Yeah, I see who it is. Let's... I actually am going to just withhold all. I think I'm going to withhold all opinion on this one. Suffice to say, it sounds very much like you could get the same effect just using a matte medium. How about that? Right, Kiki? Yeah, Kiki's dubious too. There are always companies that are going to try... It's the whole hand you a fish thing, right? Again. Except that they're kind of just trying to disguise the fact that you really could, you know, like, get your own fish anytime. You don't need to use their fish. Really, any fish of this sort would work. Well, you know, companies have the right to try to make money, and if they feel like there is a market that other people are not fulfilling... Although, in the market of miniatures, this is a pretty work-intensive technique, right? Not only do you need to mix it, but you also need to get down the technique of wiping it without, like, wiping it all out. Which I feel is where the sticking point is. Because you got to make it easy. Alright, what am I missing? I'm missing this little clasp up here. Oh, and I'm missing a white highlight on the pommel of the sword. Uh-oh. Hey, Keeks! You know. Hey, come on. You're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Come on in here, big guard dog. Come on in here, big guard dog. I need to do one more buckle, but I can pet you. No, Kiki. That's enough. But I heard something sus. I swear it. You have a very high opinion of Kiki. She's just trying to protect me. Enough. Yeah, that's true. If you're doing an army, you'll get your technique figured out 100 models or less. It's true, Inara. It's true. And you know, for army painting, maybe it's a good investment. Kiki, enough. Settle. Come on, settle down. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Hi, Waggy Tail. Yeah, you're a good girl, but you got it. We're going to work just for a few more minutes. Just for a few more... No! That is not acceptable. No barking at the microphone. Yeah, you do not need to blow out the ears of our listeners. Yeah, you don't. You don't bork. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they can market it, more power to them. If they can market it. A little bit of a hair strand there. Nope, it's all Kiki, Pyro. It's all Kiki. The super alert, hyper alert guard dog Kiki is here to save us from whatever it is she thought was going to come and eat us. I also need to get these little rivet things, and this little thingy, and that little thingy. That little thingy. Just little touches of metal all over the place. Yeah, it's almost time, Geeks. Almost time. Almost. Oh, no. That's funny. SSC decided I wasn't singing today, so he could go to sleep on the screen, huh? Hard day watching birds, yeah. Oh man, at the most comedy thing at my bird bath, or actually at the fountain. So I've got a tiny bird bath, but I also have a fountain that has multiple tiers, you know, with little pools. The dumbest birds, the goldfinches, the lesser goldfinches, who I think are just really the most mindless birds, are the ones who figured out that they could use the fountain as a bird bath. And the other day, there were at least 7 of them, Kuro, like chasing each other all over, to like each trying to fit in like each of the little pockets of water, like fighting over the little pockets of the pools of water that the streams were going into, like so that they could take baths. So there's all these little yellow birds darting around, like taking any little pool they could find, trying to take baths, and then trying to chase off the other birds who want to use it for a bath too. It was really cute. So cute. I swear I sat and watched for 5 minutes straight. Like, it was just adorable. So my fountain's kind of an upright one with several tiers that pour down. I really like it. It looks like stone. It looks like fake stone, but it's nice. I like it. So, but it was amazing. All the other birds, I think maybe they're just too big, because if they tried to use it for bathing, probably they'd have to be under a stream of water. But the little goldfinches are tiny. They're the teensiest, except for my little wren. So they actually can use it as a bath. It was just very cute. All these little birds zipping around yelling at each other. And taking baths. All right, we're almost there. We still have this down here. These inner fixtures are just the sort of thing that is easy to forget, so just try to at least hit them with a little bit so that you can show that you actually didn't forget them. Yeah, I have to order more sunflowers hearts, I think, for my feeders. I went down to chips and I mixed that into the mix, but I think the chips are too fine for some of the bigger birds. Like, there's definitely less crap thrown over the side to attract rats, which is good. Not from Kiki's point of view. She would like to chase the rats, but yeah, I feel like the bigger birds don't get the sunflower they want because it's so tiny. All right, let's get the side of that. Hey, Twisted Oma. Nice, 49 months. Oh, cute. Yeah, I just have a little Bewix wren. He's adorable. Sometimes he brings his wife. He's a ground feeder, so he just likes to hop around and find stuff the other birds have thrown out. And he eats a lot of the insects off of the shrubbery. He's very cute. Hey, what you got? What you got, Bubba? What you got? Can you give it? What is it? What is it? What have you got? Oh, good girl. Can you give it? I want you to drop it. She's got a scrap of cloth that she probably pulled off the blanket earlier. Do you want to trade for that? Or did you eat it? You might have eaten it, huh? She always, like, makes me just, like, go crazy because she, like, has these things in her mouth. Can you drop it? Can you drop it? Good girl! Yep, piece of blanket. Good girl! Yay! Good girl! All right, Keekers. I don't have a TRADE right here, but Oh, suit sprite. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Melanistic one, really black. Cool. Cool. I've got a Kiki in my lap. Yeah, I've got a Kiki in my lap. Yes. Hi there, Missy. Okay, well, if you just give me a second to finish this last little bit, Papa, then I will go and take you for your walk. I want to get that last little tiny highlight in, and then we can call the stream. Tomorrow is Ed Day. We'll be back to Ed. And the stream should be adjusted so you can actually see the colors. Correctly. There we go. All right. So, got all the hardware there. Got the, oh, dagger, we missed a couple spots. Yeah, it is a nice lead into the holiday. It's been almost a year without Ed. And we'll do a little bit of a highlight there. There. Okay, we've got the clasp there. Do I want to do the edge of the bag? Okay, yep, have fun, Inara. I hope your energy holds out. Could do a bit of a gold edge on the bag, as I can. We still need to do his eyes, and I do need to touch up on his hair. Oh, that's Texas though, Twisted Oma. I remember how our trees always used to get frost shocked because it'd be like 80 degrees one day and like then plunge to freezing overnight, and the leaves would all turn brown and they wouldn't have time to turn. Seems like there are at least a few years I remember that from Texas. It's a very Texas thing in my mind. All right, I'm going to do a quick highlight on these strands. There we go. Much better. Get a little bit more on top. Yep. Yeah, we got some decent falls up in Denton. But there were at least a few years where everything just got frost shocked. That's why my bonsai trees just couldn't handle it. Because in their little pots, they were really vulnerable to that sort of thing. Someday I'll do bonsai again, but haven't been to the bonsai places out here. Although it is a pretty good climate because it's so mild for doing bonsai. There we go. I do like fall, and we have pretty good ones here. There we go. Right now all the ginkgo leaves are falling, and they're my favorites. The big fan-shaped ones. They turn bright yellow. And there are tons of them. I would love one of those trees, and yet I wouldn't in the fall, because there'd be leaves everywhere, Papa. Leaves everywhere. Oh, yes. Leaves everywhere. You're a good girl. Is it time? Is Kiki o'clock? Is it Kiki o'clock? Is the alarm dog here? The alarm dog says it's time to take a walk, everybody. I think we did finish everything, though. So we have touched up the hair. We have gotten the bling everywhere. I think that there's meant to be bling. And he's pretty much, maybe, I think it's about done. Except for basing. Oh, eyeballs. You do eyeballs. So we'll do eyeballs, and we'll think about basing next time we get around to him. Although, again, well, yeah, I'm trying to think of who I want to... I haven't got my Reaper box yet, so until I get the Reaper box, it's like we're not switching to Holiday Mini because I don't have my Reaper box. So my Reaper box needs to come. I haven't checked the tracking on it to see when it's supposed to be here, so who knows? Maybe it'll get here today. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow is Ed Day. I don't know what we'll work on for him. Maybe we'll start working on the skeletons a bit. That might work. I haven't figured out, like, some of his coloring, so... we did do the skin, and we highlighted it, so that's pretty good. All right, so yeah, we'll do Ed tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, and I hope to see you then. Quindy, thank you for modding, as always. And for those of you who are ready for Thanksgiving, awesome. Have a great day. For those of you who aren't, go scamper. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.